So you've landed on this video because you're asking the question, should you script your marketing videos for your business? Today, I'm going to give you insight on if you should or shouldn't, and maybe there's some alternatives if you shouldn't script it. I'll keep this short and brief, but I've been in the video content space for 13 years, and I've actually shot on-site video content with about 250 clients across the last 13 years. And so there's a lot of people that I've worked with where I've actually on-site set strategy with them, help them get their topics together, and then actually film them on video. And I will say this, out of the 250 plus, probably more than that, honestly, I've only allowed about 6 people to read off a teleprompter with a script and actually fully script their video out and then do it that way. And there's a reason for that. I'm going to give you those reasons here, but a lot of this is going to stem from the way that you actually perform on camera. For example, there's several ways that there's generally speaking like 4 to 5 different types of people when they get on video, how they can actually deliver on video. One of them is like, for example, for me, I have a list of topics that I'm going to be doing my video content on as I'm batching my video content. If you haven't watched that video about batching video content, make sure you do go check that out. But I have all my lists of topics here. And as I'm going through recording the video, all I need to be pitched is my topic. And I might take 3 to 5 breaks in between during my recording. Obviously, my editor is going to snip out those pauses so I can think about it, and then it's seamless. You didn't even know it existed. But I can literally just spew it out. I'm also the type of person that if I'm on a podcast and somebody asks me a question, I can just go. Like I can just riff, which is a completely different format. But if I'm looking individually at a video camera and I'm talking that way, I can literally just riff out my topic. Now, that's been with practice. Like I've done content for a very long time, and I promise you, if you ever go look up, I'm not ashamed of it. Go look up some of my videos and just filter like the search results on YouTube from like the upload date in reverse order. I promise you, some of my first videos that you ever see me put out, I absolutely suck. And listen, I'm okay with that because I grew and I got better and better and better over time, and I'm still improving. But everybody delivers content in a different way. There's people that I've worked with that they have to have like an outline, and then they go point by point, and they have to take breaks in between, really think about what they're doing. But the thing is too, principally, is we got to understand that we shouldn't be talking about things that we don't know inside and out. That's one thing that I will never waver from. If you're on video and you're talking about a specific topic, then you must be an expert in that topic and know it inside and out. And if I were to ask you that question, you should be able to reverberate back an answer to me without hesitation. You shouldn't need breaks in between. Whether you answer it in 2 minutes or 20 minutes, doesn't matter. You should be able to talk about it for a long period of time, which in theory means that I should be able to turn on a camera and then just ref about it. But I understand like the camera's intimidating for some people, so it's just something to get used to. But like with anything else in life, practice does make perfect. Another type of person is, I already mentioned this, is somebody that needs to kind of outline stuff. Now, you could do this on your own. I have a video on how to kind of create your scripts if you are going to script. And ChatGPT is going to be your best friend, or whatever AI software that you use. But I use ChatGPT. And the way that I like to do this is I'll have my topics ready to go. I'll even have sometimes, if I'm struggling with coming up with topics, I'll have ChatGPT go through and create some topics for me, or at least spark some ideas that I can kind of spin off of that. And then I'll say, okay, great, I need an outline. I need 3 to 5 bullet points per topic for everything that I'm going to be talking about. And then it'll spit that out for me. Once again, I can tweak it if needed. And then that's how I go off of it. Or you could sit down and create those bullet points yourself. A lot of times if ChatGPT knows you enough, if you've done enough prompts and you've had it do enough research, then it'll actually be able to analyze those things for you and what you're an expert in, and then like actually give you context of what you can talk about as opposed to like just general bullet points. So for example, what I really like to do is, if you're not used to it, is when you go to have the outlines created, I'll say, I'll take the link from my YouTube channel and my website, and I'll say, give me topics that I can talk about on video based on my expertise. I'll click the deep research button on the search. And then what it'll do is it'll spend a lot more time digging through all my content, going through and analyzing all the topics that I talked about, the transcriptions of the videos that I've already talked about, and it'll spend a lot more time on that. It takes maybe 5 to 10 minutes for it to complete that search, but it'll give you a lot more context for what to actually search for. And then it can give you better outlines. And if you're going to script, it can give you better scripts. So try that out. Then, of course, like I said, I've had a few people where they actually fully scripted something out, and then they were able to go on camera and read word for word their, content and then get it out that way. Here's the thing I'm always going to caution about scripting is it's very easy for us as we script is to get on camera, read word for word. And if you have a teleprompter, this is easy because you're focused on reading the words. We don't want to become a robot. We don't want to become like a lifeless human being. The advantage of video content over any other type of marketing is that I can see face to face on the other side of the phone screen, somebody watching me, and they're connecting with me with a human being. That's one of the things about video content that kind of excels more than other types of marketing is I'm connecting with another human being by seeing their face, seeing their emotions, the way that they talk, the mannerisms, that sort of thing. And that's a connectivity point, which you want. One thing that I did try out with a recent client that I did video with on site is I actually had ChatGPT create the scripts for the video. And then I told it that I was going to be, because I didn't have a teleprompter with me, I was mobile and we didn't even know that he needed a teleprompter. It was kind of one of those things that was like an expectation that we had set. And then we didn't know like if he was actually going to be good on camera or not. So it was my fault, but we didn't have a teleprompter on hand. So what we did is I actually had the script ready to go on my phone and I read it to him and he read it back to me on camera looking at the camera. So he wasn't reading anything, he was just repeating back what I said. And the challenge with that is that it can be difficult. What we ran into was I would say a sentence and then maybe it was too long for him to remember the whole thing. So I encouraged him like, hey, you don't have to say word for word what I'm saying, just at least get the context of it. And then after we started practicing that a little bit, he got better at it. And I was able to actually give him, because what you don't want is for me to repeat and say, hi, I'm Josh Culler. And then he has to repeat, hi, I'm Josh Culler. And then you do the next one, because then it's going to take forever for the editor to stitch all of that together and make it one good video. And with all the jump cuts and everything, it's just not going to look good. So be careful with that. But if you can get it right and somebody on the other side of the camera can read you the script and you can read it back to them and again, have some life in you and some emotions and mannerisms, then that video typically is going to turn out well. Luckily, I have amazing editors and they were able to make it look really, really good. And so the videos turned out well. I think we did about 50 videos while I was with him and we did every single one of them like that and they did great. So think about it. The thing I would tell you is if you can get on video without scripting, like word for word scripting, do that because that is going to be the best route, especially for the purposes of creating content to connect with people, especially if it's organic. If it's paid traffic and paid media and you're doing video, a video ad or whatever, you're definitely going to want that scripted and have that well thought out. But if you're doing it organically, don't script it because that just brings the life out of it and people can really tell. It's very easy to tell when something is scripted on the other side. Like you're not Jimmy Fallon, you're not a news anchor, you're not somebody that's done this for years and is a professional at it. So it can be very challenging for you. So just be careful with it. Test it out, but see if you can actually do video. I would encourage you, try to do video without scripting. Worst case scenario, have an outline for yourself. And once again, just let the camera roll and then an editor will go in and snip out when you need to take breaks and pauses in between each bullet point and you get them out that way. So hopefully that gave you a little insight if you should be scripting or not. And that's a good question, honestly. Like you've taken a big step of actually thinking about like if you should script or not, because you've probably heard somebody say you should or shouldn't. And these are some of the thoughts that you need to be thinking about as you're going into doing your video content. But get it right. Like make sure that you're practicing it. Just like I said, with anything else in life, practice does make perfect. So if you decide to script, outline, or just like riff, whatever path you choose because you're good at that path, just practice it and you'll get better over time. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching the video today. If you haven't already, make sure you have subscribed to the show. Make sure you connect with me on social media as well. Go look for Josh Culler on Instagram or Facebook. I am verified on both platforms, so you can follow me there. Send me a direct message and feel free to reach out. I'd be happy to connect with just about anybody that's watching my videos. So thank you so much for joining me today, and we'll see you in the next one. See ya.